It's an interesting topic too, because what do you even? How many ounces do you need to consider to be a stacker?
Exactly,
You know?
guys. Question that we get a lot is, what do you need to start getting into stacking?
Start stacking.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
With the prices of gold and silver, gold hitting all-time highs, you get a lot more attention.
Yeah, a lot of new interest.
A lot of new interest, and people who I've spoken to over the years, and I have a YouTube channel, and they never watch any of my videos, friends and family, then they start asking, and it's annoying, when should I sell my gold? Should I start buying some? And I'm like, you effer, I've had a YouTube channel for 5 years. You could have at least watched a couple of my videos, and I've been telling you all along that you should be buying it. And now that it's all-time highs, now you're paying attention. So I'm asked often, what do I need to get started? How much money? So I'll give you guys the amount that I say and what they should buy, and then or actually, you know what? You go first. If somebody comes in
back into their budget. I mean, it all has to do with
right,
what they're looking
let's
to
put
spend.
aside.
Let's put a number on it.
Exactly. Put aside, and I'll tell you whether I agree or not, but I have my own number. So if somebody comes in, or a friend of yours, or you're out at a bar, all right, I want to get into it. How much do I need? What should I use? What do you tell them? What's a good way to, a good amount to just get started?
I would definitely feel out, ask him how much he's looking to invest. I don't know, if he's a
regular dude.
5,000, 25,000, I don't know what they're looking to spend, 500, really.
All right.
I had a friend of mine come in recently looking to buy metals from high school. He bought one tube
of silver eagles, or
1 ounce generic rounds, And I charge him $1 over.
Right.
It's a good deal for him, I guess.
Right.
And
all right, so 600 something bucks.
If you're going to spend less than $1,000, boom, generic 1 ounce generic rounds.
All right, but let's just pretend in an ideal situation, somebody brand new. All right, if I want to just kind of get a normal stack, because
depends on their budget.
I know it all depends. All right, because they're all going to want to know, what about me? I would say $5,000 is a good starting point to get started. And you can do a little bit more with that. It allows you more flexibility. That doesn't mean that you can't get started. You could get started stacking with $30, $40.
Yeah,
but if you just all right, I want to get some money and I want to get a nice little base of
5,000.
Precious metals. I think 5,000 is a good starting point, because that allows you. I would break it down this way. I would say, out of the 5,000, you buy yourself 1 ounce of gold, and that'd be around $2,700 right now, and then the remainder in silver.
Perfect.
And that's what I would tell them to do.
Perfect transaction right there. 1 ounce gold and 80 ounces of silver.
Look at that. That's what I would say. And if you wanted to get a little bit more freaky, naughty,
more detailed, 8-10 ounce bars, 81 ounce rounds.
Diversify it. You could do some eagles if you wanted.
Sure.
You could blend it with a different stuff.
Even the gold you could break down to 4 quarter ounces, 2 half ounces, 10 1/10 ounces.
Yes. That's
premiums.
Premiums are higher.
Slightly higher right now, but 1 ounce of gold, 80 ounces of silver for $5,000.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to somebody who's on a much tighter budget,
let's say somebody came in with 100,000.
Dude, I would tell them probably to start, just to get a big chunk of that money spent up. A tube of buffaloes. A tube of buffaloes right off the bat. We're talking 20. Let's just round 2,700 each. What's 2,700 times 20? That's 40. What is that? 54.
54,000.
Look at that. I did that before you.
Right.
And you're the math guy. So 54 grand.
You're
boom.
40 ounces of gold.
20 ounces.
20 ounces of gold.
Right. So that's 54 grand. You have another 46,000
ounces of silver.
What is that? About 30 grand.
Yep.
Right, 1,000 ounces,
right
30
now,
grand.
30 grand,
and then
throw in some platinum.
Yeah.
Boom. Diversify.
Boom. But for the silver, I would say you break that up a little bit
1,000
too.
ounces.
I would say do some tubes of eagles in there.
I would definitely do some eagles.
And then do some generics.
Yep.
And then I would say, even though I don't,
100-ounce bar in there.
He likes a 100-ounce bar, and I don't like constitutional silver, but I would say get a little constitutional in there.
Silver in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
no,
you wanted
that 1,000 ounces you could really spread thin.
you could.
You know?
And then I would say with a few $1,000s too, instead of just buying the platinum, because I don't really mess around with platinum.
I don't either. But
You could do some, I would say, consider even some numismatics at that standpoint. I like this. So we have the 5,000. We should have done like scales. Like if we have 1,000, we could still do that. So we did a $5,000 person. Now we're talking the whale at 100K.
100K.
All right. So we said
1,000 ounces of silver, 20 ounces of gold.
And do some numismatics in there,
some
slabbed and graded.
Possibly some platinum. You know. We'll see in the comments.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll see.
sure,
What are you guys crazy? Only junk silver. What about? All right, let's go down to like now, like the newbie guy he doesn't have like a big budget.
2,500. Yeah, anything like that, I would just only recommend silver.
Not even a little gold.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
like a couple.
You got to think if
tenths.
you have a couple 1/10 and gold goes up $100 an ounce. I mean,
it's not going to make a difference,
it's nothing,
but psychologically, they're like they feel good that they have a little,
and you're stacking,
and you add another one, and then you
look back a year later and say, yeah, you know what, those.
It's happened.
Yeah, sure.
When I did a full stack video, I remember like a little bit of gold in my. I was like, oh, look at this, this is glorious. And then fast forward a handful of years later, and
it's 3 times the size.
It's like more like 5.
Oh man, sorry.
Yeah. But it does add up, right? They say everything does add up. So I think you should, and I think you should have a little bit of gold and everything. So if you have like you said $2,500. So if we have a $2,500 budget, a couple 10th ounces of gold, the rest in silver. Maybe do them in like silver eagles or something like that.
Sure.
So we did a $2,500 budget guy. We did a $5,000. We did $100,000. How about like $1,000?
$1,000. Yeah.
Because to some people too, $1,000 is a lot of money. What do you? It's
hard.
hard.
I get customers like that come in. They buy 1 silver kilo bar. It's the same thing. You could buy 1 10-ounce bar, 2 5-ounce silver bars. You could break up the.
I would break it up though. If
if
it was like if I came in and I only had $1,000, I would want it in rounds or coins. I would
you could split up per ounce.
Yeah. Instead of just like a big here's your brick, boom, sitting at the bottom of your safe. It's a little underwhelming. It feels. To me, it's better like I would do a tube of eagles. Somebody had $1,000, tube of eagles, and a 10th ounce of gold. That's what I would say. Do that, like 1 gold 10th ounce eagle, and 1 tube of silver eagles. Because then you can because there are people. If $1,000 is a lot of money for some people, and to start stacking, if they end up like needing to dip into that to pay a couple of bills, they can just take. 10 ounces of the silver eagles, and they still feel good that they still have
their
some metals. So now I like when we started, you're like, what is it even considered like a stack?
Yeah, what is considered a stack?
And that is something that nobody really can define. Is 2 coins a stack?
Yeah, more than one.
It can't be 1 because that's not a stack. But so you have to, stackette. But you have to have at least like 2 or 3 of something to consider it a stack.
A couple ounces.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're declaring a couple ounces as
what do you guys
considered
think?
a stack.
How many ounces do you need in your portfolio to be considered a stacker?
Yeah. You can't really. I feel like you can't really call yourself a stacker if you only have like 2 or 3 ounces of silver. Like, I'm a stacker. You have to have more. And also, do you
maybe early in their journey?
Do you call yourself a stacker too if you've only been doing is there a certain period of time? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like almost like a mentality thing.
Guys been doing it for a week.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a stacker now.
Right.
Yeah,
or I just got into stacking.
Yeah.
But it should be like.
Is there a time period?
Yeah, we should write a rule book. Like chapter 1.
Sure.
So we did a $1,000, $2,500, $5,000 budget, $100,000 budget. What do you think? Do you think across the board? See, I think no matter what you do with whatever budget you have, I think you should have a little silver and gold. It should always be broken up.
Right. Not just one. And
not just one or the other.
Take a little bit of something of each.
Every friend that I've had who've approached me and have asked. Also, the thing that they should keep in mind too, if you do start getting into stacking, it can be very underwhelming when you're thinking like, oh, I'm going to pay, $500. I'm going to get all this gold and stuff.
And then this big.
Yeah, it's always like, guys, it's not like what it once used to be. Like, and those of you that are married and have spouses that don't have a clue about metals, it's always fun for me. I always, once in a while, I'll go to my wife, like, how much do you think this is? And I don't know, $300. Meanwhile, I'm holding like a 1 ounce buffalo.
Oh my God.
It's like, I don't know, $300. I'm like, no, try like 2,700 or whatever. Or like a 10th ounce gold eagle. Like, how much is this worth? I don't know. 500 or something. Like they don't have a concept. It's always fun.
Well, don't let her sell them if God forbid something happens.
Well, I've educated her and I've shared spreadsheets with her that's the other thing too. Like I do think like some people like don't tell their spouses about the stacks for whatever reason. I do think it's important that your spouses know what you have. God forbid something happens to you. You want your spouse to know like what they've got so that they don't get screwed over, you know?
Yeah, sure.
You should also have a relationship with, dealers or other people who could take care of things in case.
I've had people ask me to introduce them to somebody that's going to be in charge of their estate, or if God forbid something happens to them.
Like this is the person that you go to, and just
last
God
thing you
forbid
want to
something
do is
happens.
leave someone in charge of that doesn't know.
Right.
Man, they'll get raped.
Yep.
Big
time. You never know. And there's vultures out there.
Sure.
I don't know. Also, feel free, guys, like in the comments, like ask us, like if you have a certain budget or something that you're thinking of, and like what's like, what we would recommend in terms of like what you should buy or where you should get started. Ask us. Andrew's actually a little bit better at answering the comments. I can't.
I like
go
the
through
comments.
all.
I like interacting with the people. I'd love to hear anybody's investment strategies on any of the purchases that we mentioned.
Yeah, let us know. And if you guys are looking to get started in stacking, you can go to either of our websites. What's yours?
BayshoreBullionExchange.com.
EmpirePreciousMetals.com is mine, and you can also check out on Wednesday nights on YouTube, 6 p.m. Eastern. I have my auctions, so you can definitely buy stuff there. And we will see you guys next weekend.
Yep. Have a good weekend, guys.